YouTube, Facebook. It's your boy back again. I stand at this Coach J, coming here today to call another play. You know, all we do over here is call plays, and so we back again, and we calling another play for the day. And the play for the day is get your mouth right, not get your mind right. You know, everybody be talking about get your mind right. The day to play is get your mouth right. And so I have somebody here with me. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. But again, if you're watching on Facebook, please hit like, hit share. YouTube, hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, tune in so you can come watch all this good content over here. Also, if you like what you're hearing and you want to be generous in this holiday season, hit the cash app, man, so we can keep this thing rolling and get the young people the information they need. Because you know this platform is about young people bridging the gap with education and information, allowing them to be successful in their own way and in their own right. Today with me, I got none other than Dr. Brown, and we're going to have a conversation around dental hygiene. But I will introduce him and won't do him any justice. I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell y'all about all the X's, Y's, and Z's he got in front of his name and behind his name. Go ahead, Dr. Brown.
Yeah, I appreciate that introduction, man. I appreciate you, Josh, for having me on here, man. But yeah, everybody, my name is Tyler Brown. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. Grew up in Atlanta. Then I went to Howard University to get my undergrad degree up in D.C., Washington, D.C. So anybody interested in HBCUs, let me know. After that, I actually moved to Chicago, where I did a fellowship at a nonprofit called Oral Health America. After that, I went down to Miami and got my master's in biomedical sciences. Then I moved up to Boston, Massachusetts, where I got my doctorate in dental medicine. And now I'm back here, back in Atlanta, enjoying my time and ready to start real life, you know?
Wow. You mentioned real life. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, that was a lot you spit out right there. You got your bachelor's, your master's, your fellowship, you got the doctorate. You know, I'm looking at you and you look probably like 13 without the.
Hey, I'm bald now, so I'm about 25.
So I mean, with all of those accomplishments, somebody may say, well, man, somebody that done, accomplished what you've accomplished, they probably got to be, 38, 39 years old. For the young people that's watching, that need inspiration, that want to be a doctor, want to be a lawyer, want to be a physician or a pharmacist. How, if you want to tell them, you can give them a ballpark figure. How old are you, and what was that commitment? When did you make that decision that you were going to walk that path?
So I am currently 28. So I'm 28 years old. And to be honest, I didn't commit to dentistry until my I want to say my junior year at Howard. That's when I really decided, you know what, let me go ahead and do this dentistry thing. But I will say that the habits that I used in order to make it through were developed way back in the day before I even thought about dentistry. Okay. I don't have any type of dentist in my family or anything like that. And I think we have one physician, and that's one of my cousins. But other than that, it really just came by me coming across an opportunity and me taking advantage of it.
Now let me start right there. Now we have on the show what we call Coach J moments, and we just passed one, but I'm gonna rewind back.
Okay.
You said it was some habits developed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get way back.
Yeah, absolutely.
That help you on this journey. Now you got to talk about them habits, because I feel like them habits you're gonna talk about gonna help some young person that's in their junior year, or some young person that hadn't even filled the application out yet. It's gonna help them make a decision. Talk to me about them habits.
So one habit, and granted, this habit was hard for me to form, and I'm still, actually, I got to do it now that I'm working. Waking up early, right?
Okay.
Every morning, my father will come in, knock on my door, wake me up around like 6 a.m. every single morning. And with that, keep in mind, I didn't have to go to school, and this is in high school. I didn't have to go to school till like 10, because once you get to a certain age within high school, your classes are pushed back. So I just saw how much I could get done in 3 hours in the beginning of the day. Yeah. And I would always remember how much more energy I had when I woke up versus at the end of the day when my mind was tired from talking to all these people in school, chilling with my friends, I'll just be exhausted. So I really learned early to really maximize those mornings. Another habit, I had vision, right? And so I would just write down goals, and I would have those goals on display like anywhere, right? I might have it in my room. I think I used to have goals on my locker. And I just always kept looking at those goals. And even though I didn't know I wanted to become a dentist, I always knew I was trying to get a bag, right?
Yes.
So that was always in my mind. You know, I was always like, okay, how can I do this? How can I do this? How can I do this? And I guess me just kind of visioning it and me really being committed to locking in and watching my bank account grow, you know, that kind of just kept me going. So really just having a vision, sticking to those goals, and really waking up early and pushing, you know, that really helped me get to where I'm at right now.
Yeah, that's almost like a paramilitary mindset. That's why I appreciate the older people, the older heads, call them, because a lot of them, you know, we laugh at them when they go to bed 7 or 8 at night, but they up at like 5 in the morning. And when I get up that early, by 11 a.m., I done cleared so much. I feel so much freedom.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned something that's even very spiritual, right? Very centering and grounding for the conscious. Is you talked about that vision and having those things posted around in your locker, in your room. It's important for all of us, no matter if we're young or old, to have the imagery, the vision, the pictures to match what it is that you see in your future, right? And so I think that was a smart move for you to do at such a young age. You know, you mentioned growing up in Atlanta, living other places. How was it being raised in Atlanta? I mean, anybody that know Atlanta kind of understand what Atlanta represent. And it's like you don't even talk about Georgia unless you talk about, like nobody even know Georgia. It's just Atlanta. You going to Atlanta, you really going to Georgia, you visiting the city of Atlanta. But it's like Atlanta is just that popular. How were you able to survive as a teenager in high school in Atlanta, but stay focused and not get sucked up by that pipeline, that vacuum that we know doesn't render positive outcomes for young people?
Absolutely. So I think that something that's really hard to do when you're younger is, you know, I was very fortunate in the fact that because I had my vision, I genuinely knew who I was, right? And so because I told you all earlier that I always wanted a bag, I went and got a job when I was 13 years old, right? I remember I was a server at IHOP. And because I was a server at IHOP, you know, I would work from, once again, waking up early, you know, IHOP with the breakfast, the pancakes and all that. So I would wake up at 7 and be there until like 5 or 6. And I had that responsibility in the back of my head. Whereas, like, you know, I can't be out all night because I got to wake up on Saturday morning. I got to wake up on Sunday morning just to get back to the job. And that's what I love to do. And that just was my thing. You know, I was the first of my friends to have a car. You know, I'm spending, you know, granted, it wasn't that much money, but, you know, compared to everybody else, you know, I felt like I had a little bankroll or whatever it may be. And so by me having that and me having something going on, and for one time it was sports as well, I had other things to focus on. And of course, now you always gonna have the situations where, okay, you know, young men want to chase girls, you know, girls want to, you know, talk to dudes. That's always gonna happen. And me and my friends, we made time for all of that. But I just always think that I had a very, very clear vision of what I was passionate about. And I always try to really sit down and talk to young people and say, like, find out what you care about, not what your friends care about, but what you care about. And it's hard though, right? Because I mean, as high schoolers, you know, everybody wants to be cool. It's a bunch of groupthink. And for people who don't know what groupthink is, it's basically when, you know, if 5 people say something's cool, then it's easier for the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th person to think it's cool. And in high school, it's a lot of that, right? But I think that one of the greatest things that anybody can do is really just sit down with some time by themselves and figure out what they are passionate about and start taking the steps now to figure out how to go about that. So if you want to be, you know, there's so many different avenues. If you want to be a YouTuber, you know, there's 15-year-old people on YouTube, you know, creating a huge impact. And if you go to YouTube and you say, how do I become a YouTuber? You can find every step that you need. It's just figuring out, like, that's what you want to do. If you want to be a news anchor, What are the steps? Boom, 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 boom. I think historically within our culture, we know the steps on how to play ball, right? How to get to the NBA. You go, you play AAU, you got to ball out, you got to train all day, you got to hoop, blah, blah, blah. You know these steps because that's a common want. That's a common goal for our people. What if you want to be a electro science engineer, or what if you want to become a dentist, or what if you want to become an entrepreneur? Because those are less research within our culture, and granted, it's starting to build up now, thankfully, but there's just less digestible information out there for us to obtain. And so, I think that the newer generation is blessed because, like I said, they got YouTube, and really just if they're able to lock in and figure out what their vision is, I think they can do whatever they want. And that's what I did. And that's what kind of helped me stay focused throughout my path.
Yes. So what I'm going to do while we're going, because we're heading into the dental hygiene, but somebody's asking a question that I want to lift up. And then I'm going to circle back to something you said that I have to raise up. Macabre, how many times do you recommend flossing a week?
You should floss every time you brush your teeth.
Wow.
Every single time. And, this is the thing, right? Normal floss, the string floss is better than the picks. But I believe the picks are easier entry point to flossing because it's a hard habit to pick up. And I acknowledge this and I understand this. So I always tell my patients, okay, you know what? Go grab you a pack of picks, use the picks at first. But then once you get that habit, then now I want you to mature into the string and then use the string floss. Yeah, you should be flossing every single time.
Got it. All right. Thank you, Macabre, for that question. Great question. If you got questions, place them in the chat. I'm watching the chat as we're talking. I want to bring those questions up so we can get those questions answered. Thank you so much for that question. You mentioned you knew who you was, and then you also mentioned you had other things to focus on. So it sounds like you had great balance and understanding.
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to chase the girls. I want to work. I want to get this bag later on. So it sounds like we may need to start looking at young people who are struggling to move the needle in their life. Like, what are you focusing all your energy on? Is it all on girls? Is it all on the music, the culture, the group think? Are you following? Is all of your energy there? Or are you really splitting your focus and putting it in more than one place so that you can get more than one result out of life? And that may, I might have to do some research on that because I think that may be worth diving in because I never looked at it that way. But I think looking at our culture and our young people that are really sucked in, I think that's where all of their energy is at.
Right. And I mean, it's a lot of exposure too, like, and I just mentioned this, like I had never seen a black dentist before. Like I got lucky, I went to an HBCU and they was able to see these things.
Right.
And that's why I think exposure is huge. And that's why, I'm honored to be on your platform today, just so if somebody can see me, somebody follow me on Instagram, they see that I'm doing it and I'm still able to have fun and do everything that I want to do. It just gives people the possibility like, oh, okay, I see that he did it.
Right.
I'm not the smartest guy, I'm not. So it's very, very, very possible for everybody. And that's why I just think that exposure is just everything, man.
Yeah. Man, we've had a great conversation up to this point, just about how you got to where you at. And I know so many people gonna watch this and they're gonna walk away with so much information, so many key points that they can apply to their life. So let us get into the dental hygiene.
Okay, cool. Let's go.
Listen, man. I'm all about being preventative at this stage in my life.
Yes.
Right. And growing up, going to the dentist wasn't a conversation unless it was a crisis.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a teeth broke off and you sucking on it and the air getting in it and it's causing you so much pain.
Yep.
And you go to the emergency room, they say, listen, you got to get something done to this. It wasn't no preventative work. It wasn't included in the wellness plan. How important is going to the dentist regularly versus when it's just an emergency?
Yeah, it's everything. It's everything, man. Preventative. Okay, so as a good dentist, I should be low key putting myself out of business, right? Preventative medicine is always going to be cheaper for the customer, for the patient. I'm not making as much money off of preventative dentistry, but that is what I am preaching because it is so important. I always hear these stories about dentistry being so expensive, right? And of course, I understand everybody's not made out of money. But the way I break it down is if you have $300 and you can get $300, you can take care of your oral health, right? And that's with no insurance. That's with literally no insurance. So basically, let's think about it. You need to have at least 2 dental exams every single year. Now, if you go in and you type in $79 dental exam, something's going to pop up on Google, right?
Yeah.
Go to that practice, you go, boom, you get that exam. So that's, say, $80 for the first time you go. Now, where a lot of dental offices try to get you at is that they're going to take a bunch of x-rays. Those x-rays are FMXs, full mouth series x-rays. You do need those, and the dentist does need those x-rays to make sure that they're diagnosing you correctly. But that's another $100, right? So now you got your exam and you got that $100, right? Your exam and your x-rays for $180. So, okay, so that's one exam, one set of x-rays. So in 6 months, that's another exam. So that's another $80. So now we are at $260, right? So, okay, once you get that, you also got to go to Amazon and get you 4 toothbrushes. Those 4 toothbrushes are going to cost you $10 for a pack of 4, right? Those toothbrushes, you're going to grab each toothbrush and use it 3 months at a time. So that's for that year. 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months.
Hold on, time out. You nuggets, Jim. So you need to tell. So what you explaining to me is that the person that says, "Man, I don't have insurance,"
$300
can still go to the dentist.
Absolutely. But where it becomes expensive is if you're not brushing and flossing every day, and then something happens where your tooth cracks. So then it's like, okay, well, that tooth crack is gonna cost you $2,400 versus that $300 you could have paid for the entire year for everything to be good, and you keep all your teeth.
And you keep all your teeth. Now you said 4 toothbrushes.
4 toothbrushes
every 3 months.
Every 3 months.
You tell me the toothbrush I've been had. I'm gonna throw myself out there. The toothbrush I've been had since the beginning of this year.
No, throw it away, man.
Throw it away.
You got to get a new one, man. You got to. I mean, think about.
Well, it's flat. It ain't doing me no good because it's flat.
Listen. You got to get a new one, and it's one of those things, right? Where the toothbrushes, the toothpaste, the floss, these aren't expensive items. Right. They're a hassle to go and buy, but that's why I just be buying everything in bulk, so I have it ready to go. So I don't got to make that trip to CVS. I don't got to do XXXX. We spend so much money on random things. I might go to the club and spend $80 on drinks for me and my friends. That right there is a lot of money, but we don't think about that versus me going to looking at a toothbrush and being like, oh, I ain't trying to pay $8 for no toothbrush. It's just kind of like, it's just one of those things where you really have to prioritize, and a lot of people might say, I still brush my teeth, I'm still getting cavities, but then that's where it's on your dentist to teach you how to brush correctly. A lot of people don't know that when you're brushing, you should be at an angle whereas you're hitting both your gum and your tooth structure. If you're not scrubbing and getting into your gums, getting up under those gums, you have plaque that you're not hitting. So you might be brushing the top of your tooth, which is great. What about all the plaque that's being accumulated up under your gums and causing you gingivitis and causing your gums to bleed whenever you do brush or do you do floss? So when you
said I need to be brushing all up in there and all down there.
Exactly. So if this is your tooth, right, and here's the gums, you need to be brushing like right around here to make sure that you're getting all up in the gums. Because once you get that inflammation and that bacteria in your gums, all that plaque is left there. That's called gingivitis, and gingivitis leads to periodontitis. Periodontitis is the loss of your bone. The loss of your bone means the loss of your teeth, and I see it every single day. Wow. I got pictures, I got videos on my phone. We've had to extract so many teeth just because somebody told me, man, I just never floss. I brush maybe once or twice every week, and it's unfortunate because these are young people coming in,
right?
And it's just. That little habit, it takes 2 minutes. It might take 3 minutes at the end of the night. You just have to be diligent about it,
Now, I seen a video you had on YouTube. and you were saying that we shouldn't rinse all the toothpaste out and spit it all out after we finish brushing. So what I did this morning, I actually tried that. I just spit the excess out. Just wiped the outside of my mouth, and it was totally fine. What's the science behind that?
So basically, all right. Whenever y'all go to the dentist, right? They put fluoride on your teeth at the end of it, right? So that fluoride is basically what protects your tooth from cavities. At the end of the dentist appointment, they put a very, very concentrated amount of fluoride on your teeth. That's when they get that little buzzer and they just kind of go around there and it's all chalky. And then they rinse it off, right? Because it's so concentrated. Versus the fluoride that's in your toothpaste, you brush that on your teeth, you spit out, spit out, spit out. You giving that fluoride time to activate because it's not as concentrated as the one that they put on in the dental office, right? And so literally, people always comment, they'll be like, oh, it tastes grainy, it tastes nasty. And I'm like, no, I completely understand. It don't taste good now. Hey, exercising hurts.
Right, exactly.
The things that you need to do. And I'm not saying leave the fluoride on all day, but keep the fluoride on your mouth. Like I said, spit out all the excess, spit out everything. 30 minutes later, you can rinse off that extra fluoride if you even still have it, right? So it's a new thing. There've been studies on it for a while now. But that fluoride in that toothpaste is there to protect you. It's there to protect you.
Now, a lot of people, go to the dentist. I know I go every now and then for cleaning to try to keep my teeth healthy, white. Is there a trick at all to keep your teeth as white as possible?
Brush your teeth. That's it. Now, granted, some people do have stains, right? So there are these things in coffee and tea. Okay. And these things are called tannins. So if you're somebody who drinks a whole bunch of coffee or a whole bunch of tea, naturally you'll start to see that your teeth become more and more dark just because of the tannins that are in these different solutions. So if somebody drinks a lot of coffee or a lot of tea, I always tell them, you know what? Hey, after you drink that coffee, just swish your mouth out with some water and spit it out, right? And keep it going. But today there's so many different toothpastes on the market. I personally use Crest 3D White. I love it. I've had no issues. I've heard some stories about people, brushing their teeth with baking soda. I don't subscribe to all that. I've never done that. I don't believe it's necessary. I don't do it. But like I said, there are a lot of toothpastes on the market right now that'll take off those surface stains. And like I said, if it's somebody who's just drinking tea or drinking coffee, then definitely you can just go and just swish your mouth out with some water afterwards just to make sure that you're not getting any, more permanent stains than usual.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Growing up, when we have a lot, I brushed my teeth a lot of days with baking soda. And when we didn't have anything, salt was always an option too. Toothbrush. That's just the reality. What are the myths involved in dentistry? Are there any myths that untruths where people say this, but then you're like, no, that's really not true. Look at it this way.
Okay, so for example, there's a new trend, right? It's called the charcoal toothpaste. I don't know if y'all have seen that. It's like a black toothpaste that people are using, and you'll see it on different social media channels and things like that. Not that deep, unnecessary. Don't do anything like that. As far as when it comes to toothpaste, stick with what is known, what is tested. A lot of people opt out and don't get toothpaste with fluoride in it. They feel like fluoride is a chemical that blocks your pineal gland and things of that nature. But like I said, years of science have shown that fluoride protects your teeth to a high degree. And people who don't use fluoride, their teeth are typically a lot worse. So if you ever hear any type of rumors about fluoride, ignore those rumors. If you ever hear any type of rumors about a root canal, for example, a lot of people believe that root canals are poisonous and things of that nature. No, they're not. Root canals are safe. They've been tried and tested for years. A lot of people believe that cavities, not cavities, but a lot of people think that candy and sugar, or like little candies, that's what causes cavities, right? But it's not the sugars. It's really the carbohydrates from the sugar are literally sitting on your teeth, and that's what's attracting the acid to come and make cavities. So I tell people this all the time. You can eat you can go eat some greens, you can eat some broccoli and still get cavities if you're not brushing your teeth correctly. So don't think that it's specifically sweets or whatever it may be. Granted, sweets might not be good for your overall health in general, but candy specifically isn't what is causing your cavities. If you're eating candy and you're doing a thorough job brushing, you're spending 2 minutes brushing versus the quick 30 seconds that we all do, then you will be okay. And that's another myth, right? A lot of people, they think they're brushing for 2 minutes when they're really not. They're really not.
Really not. I got you.
It's just quick, right? And I always tell people, I'm like, time yourself, try it out. Set up a timer, sit down, and really watch how long 2 minutes is. Because it's a long time, but hey, that's what you need to do to make sure that your teeth are staying where they need to be.
I like what you just mentioned about the candy. It's not the candy in itself, it's letting that stuff sit on the teeth. Yeah. So, again, it's a lot of discipline. A lot of prioritizing, like you said, involved in keeping your teeth and your mouth healthy.
Absolutely.
Now, somebody asked, how often should you floss? I'm going to ask, how often should we brush our teeth?
2 times a day.
2 times a day, okay.
Yeah. And honestly, what you think is more important, in the morning or at night?
Man, I would probably say, I would probably lean towards at night.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I don't do.
See, boom. That's it, right? You are absolutely correct. And where people always, they're kind of wondering, like, I think that in the morning, of course, we're going down to society. We want to brush our teeth. We want our breath to be fresh, right? We're not trying to be talking to people and our breath be smelling crazy. So naturally, that's what we do. But then, okay, you go through your entire day. And at the end of the night, you might be playing a game. You might be watching the game. You might be out with your friends. You might have just came back from the bar, whatever it may be. You just pass out. But what you have to understand is that for those 8 hours, you're just letting all that bacteria sit in your mouth, and it's just working. Wow. That bacteria is just working that entire time. And so that's why, I always try to tell people, like you said, brushing at night is much more important than brushing in the morning. But unfortunately, most of us, if we do skip brushing, it's going to be at night versus in the morning. So it's just one of them things.
Now, how does dental hygiene affect bad breath, or can it affect it at all?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, keep in mind, I keep talking about gingivitis. And gingivitis, everybody, if you floss your teeth and you start to bleed, you have gingivitis.
Really?
Absolutely. Gingivitis is an infection. It's an infection of the gums. So you have a whole bunch of bacteria just sitting in your mouth, waiting for you to go out and clean it all out. And that's why sometimes when y'all go to dentists, I'm sure they say that you need a deep cleaning. It's because you've been missing it when you have or haven't been flossing. You haven't been getting up under the tooth or getting to that bottom of the tooth, getting out all that bacteria. All that bacteria accumulating, definitely it causes bad breath.
Wow.
Yeah, that's one of the main things.
Halitosis and everything back there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Somebody got a question right here, and I kind of see where they're going with the question. It's they saying, what kind of high-level toothpaste do you feel, or advanced brushing techniques do millionaires, athletes, actors, models, and basically, people with resources that, are beyond what typical people have? What are they doing to keep their teeth in the shape they are? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so when we see these actors, when we see these celebrities getting all this, when we see them smiling, right? Y'all might say, oh, they have a very pretty smile. What I see is $20,000, $30,000 worth of work. I see that all the time, right? So first and foremost, a lot of these people start off with braces. Boom. So braces alone, I've never had braces. I think my sister might have braces, but braces gonna run you about $6,000, right? And that's just the standard. So then you start looking into things like veneers and all these different, just these extra cosmetic cases. Whereas honestly, a full mouth reconstruction, which a lot of these people are getting once they have the money, $50,000. $50,000. So when you're hearing about veneers, I got a friend out in New York. He charges $4,000 per tooth.
Whoa.
$4,000. So these high, millionaires, okay, they can spend that. They can spend that $4,000 a tooth, right?
All lined up, straight, white,
perfect. And granted, I'm sure we've all seen like these crazy fake veneers, like Gucci might have some where it almost looks like horse teeth a little bit. Those are on the lower end. You might even see some people going to Colombia getting their teeth done. That's much more on the lower end. But whereas you see some people whose teeth, you might never know they're veneers, but they just look perfect. That's when you get into that 4,000, 5,000 per tooth type of range.
Wow.
And it's crazy. So, honestly, when you talk about these high level people, the people who don't have straight teeth or the straightest teeth, but natural looking teeth, they're doing the same thing you and I are. They're going to the market, getting that crest. They might get an electric toothbrush. Granted, I don't think it's necessary for people to go and get a $200 toothbrush. I just don't think it's necessary. If you learn the right way to brush, that same job can be done with a $5 toothbrush from Walmart.
Got it.
Yep.
Another question here. When did we make the shift from brushing back and forth to circular motions?
See, so honestly, I've always heard about the circular motions. I don't know. Like, I think it's more natural for us to do brushing back and forth. I think it's just an easier process for us, or an easier rhythm, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, since my first day of dental school, they always told me circular motions. Also, you moving circularly helps you get up under those gums, right?
There you go. That's what I was thinking.
Exactly. Whereas you going back and forth, you're not going up.
Right.
Like if here's your tooth, or say these are your teeth. These are your teeth. There's a gum. Circular, you're hitting all this. Right. Versus brushing, you're just hitting right here.
Nope, just hitting the teeth.
Exactly. You're just hitting the teeth. Whereas that circular, you're making sure you're getting in all those crevices between the gum and the tooth.
Wow.
Yep.
So the young person, 5-6-year-old, who parent will watch this.
Yes.
Lay out the dental plan for them to keep their young son or young daughter teeth as healthy as possible beginning at that age. What does the yearly dental plan look like for them? The things they need to do every year.
Twice a year. You can either go to a pediatric dentist, which I do recommend if your child is like 3, 4, 5, I say go to a pediatric dentist, just because we as general dentists, we don't see younger patients like that. And so many things are changing in a young child, whereas their palate is changing, their jaw is getting bigger. Like, a pediatric dentist knows how to watch all of that and track it to make sure that that child is on the right path. Whereas general dentists, I'm seeing, teenagers and up. So I might not necessarily know what to look for when it comes to a younger child. Granted, I can look in there and I can say, okay, I don't see any cavities, sure. But as far as their cranial development, I'm not as knowledgeable as a pediatric dentist would be. And then when it comes to pediatric dentists, I mean, it's the same type of routine. You go in twice a year, you get those checkups. You just keep going for the rest of your life.
Wow, that's amazing. A lot of great information been shared on here. I got one last question.
Of course, yeah.
Why is the wisdom tooth called the wisdom tooth? Does it give us any wisdom? Where did it come from, man?
Man, I have no idea. But the funny thing about the wisdom tooth is we don't need them no more, right? And that's why we as dentists, we always kind of recommend, if you're a younger person and you're starting to experience some crowding, or, you're starting to feel some tension, it's because your wisdom teeth are coming in and our jaws aren't meant for them teeth anymore, right? So back in the day when we were eating, we out hunting and we're just tearing steak and doing things like that. We needed those back teeth, but we don't need them anymore. So our jaws have actually gotten smaller over time. And because our jaws have gotten smaller, we don't have enough space for all them teeth. And that's why you see all that crowding, because those wisdom teeth are pushing down. And I mean, it can get bad, right? Because if them wisdom teeth grow in the wrong way, you can get you start getting like an infection, and then it gets tough because it's hard to brush back there. So you get in cavities, you starting to feel pain. I just think it's a hassle. So if you have the opportunity to go and get those wisdom teeth taken out at a young age, I say go ahead and do it. But as you age, if you haven't experienced any problems and you are cleaning the teeth, typically I let them keep it in.
Yeah, I had mine taken out because of that reason. They started, butting up and coming in, and it was a pain. That surgery was a pain. I couldn't eat the weeks after that to that mouth up top heal. But Man, this has been a blast being on here chatting about dental hygiene, man, and listening to your story. It's been so powerful, so many tips. I'm just flabbergasted at the concept that people, if they move preventively, that they can really pay out of pocket and not be broke.
$300.
To see the dentist, you know?
Absolutely, $300.
Yeah, because I know, in life and in communities where economics is an issue, we always make an excuse that it's a money issue. But for 300, I mean, you can plan for that and still get that taken care of and not allow, your son or your daughter teeth to be with all the young ones with all the silver on them.
Yeah. The caps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's and I completely understand. When somebody comes into me, comes into my office, and their treatment plan might be $4,000. I understand how everybody has that, and that's why I really try to preach this as much as possible. That preventative dentistry is the only way. $25 a month, $25 a month, and granted, like I keep saying, I know some people don't have it. I know that.
Yeah.
But it's all about, what you're willing to budget.
Right.
If you able just to cut back on a sandwich, or that's literally 2 lunches.
Right.
If you cut back on 2 lunches, you make your lunch for 2 days instead of buying lunch for them 2 days, you can be good with dentistry, But a lot of people don't understand that until it's almost so far gone and they starting to feel pain. Right. That's when the dentist is going to say, all right, that's going to be $500, $600, so.
Well, man, thank you so much for the preventative dentistry concept. Like I'm gonna share this video till I can't share it anymore. I'm sure you're gonna do the same because it's just been a very rich conversation. So any parting words that you want to share with somebody that'll watch this, some young person, some mother, some father who know that they need to do different. Anything you want to share with them?
I think that, I always try to preach to people like find what you're passionate about and pursue it. It makes getting up at 4:30 in the morning that much easier. No. And really create good habits. I think that habits make or break people. And social media is amazing. Being so in touch with everybody is amazing, but also limited, right? Yeah. Because what you consume is what you become. Absolutely. And I think that's huge, right? If you on Shade Room all day, you're looking at gossip all day. Yeah. Trust me, them celebrities don't care about you. You know what I mean? They do not. Spend that time locking in. Spend that time reading a book, self-development, and just start somewhere. I always tell people, like, one of the first self-development books they can start reading is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Like, that's the book that changed my life and has helped me network and get into doors that I thought I would be in and meet new people so that I can have new exposure and have new experiences. So just keep growing and man, hey, and drink water.
There you go. Listen, water, man. I like to drink mineral water. Man.
Yeah. See. Hey, water, H2O.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it, man.
Experience, exposure, experience, man. That's a beautiful thing, man. So again, Dr. Brown, thank you for coming on here, being a model for somebody to look at. A 28-year-old African-American dentist. Many may have not seen one. I've never been to one, but I have an opportunity on this platform to have brought one for all people to look at and to have a reference point to say, wow, I met a guy, Dr. Brown, and he talked to me about preventative dentistry. Preventative dentistry. He said he want to work himself out of a job.
Yep.
Preaching.
I'm trying to retire early, man.
Yeah, preaching preventative dentistry. I love it. I like it, man. I appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. We're gonna definitely have to chop it up with you again, get you back on here down the road as you continue to, grow in that market, in that craft that you're in. Hey, we called a play. Y'all know what the play was. Coach J called a play with Dr. Brown. Get your mouth right, not get your mind right. Get your mouth right. So you go here today, cut back on them 2 lunches, put your $25 a month to the side if you ain't got no insurance, and get your mouth right.
Yeah.
Checkups a year. Keep your mouth. Once you get your mouth right, the next play after that is keep your mouth right.
Absolutely.
Coach J, Dr. Brown, we gone. We love y'all out there on social media world, YouTube, Facebook. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for hitting like, share, Hey, Dr. Brown, we'll catch you down the road, man. Peace out.
All right, man. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.